So it's a pleasure for us to be with you today. It's our last LAA Cappuccino talk of 2020. So thank you so much. And we have with us Dr. Lourdes Sosa from LSE that she will be explaining and sharing her experience on Blue Ocean Strategy. So we have been researching with different organizations. How are they doing? How are they working? How can they still be very competitive with these innovative solutions? We have this LAA transformation model, which we use as a framework to document the different cases we have done so far. We have more than 20 cases, telling the story of different organizations, how they are innovative, how they do to innovate. And in this, we have identified several practices that we have this box that is called Dare to Lean. And one of these 100 and plus practices, we have actually identified 120 practices. One of these is the Blue Ocean Strategy. So what we are trying to do in these different cappuccino talks in the round tables is to share these practices and bring the experts. So today we're going to focus on this Blue Ocean Strategy, which helps organizations finding new ways, new areas, new opportunities to deliver innovative solutions and to understand what's valuable for the customers. So it's a pleasure for me today to welcome Dr. Lourdes Sosa. She's based in London. She has been working in London School of Economics. She studies how universities, how companies, how organizations innovate. And today she will be sharing to us specifically how does this impact the application of Blue Ocean Strategy.
Thank you again, Mirna, for the invitation. It's a pleasure to be here and to cyber connect with everyone. I'm sure this idea. And so this is their page. In fact, this is how the authors, Kim and Mauborgne, two scholars at INSEAD in France, explain Blue Ocean Strategy versus what they call a red ocean. Of course, it's red because there's so much blood from fighting head to head against the competition. And therefore, red ocean strategy is supposed to be the natural way in which we compete. Blue ocean is different. Now, take a second to look through what Blue Ocean Strategy promises as its outcomes. And it states that it would create uncontested market space, that competition will be irrelevant, and you'll be capturing new demand. And then it continues going. Market boundaries is that the market boundaries are going to define who are the potential clients, and that means they're defining demand. Where are your sales going to come from? And if you know what purchases you're targeting, then you know who is competing against you because they want the same purchases. And so that means that it defines competitors, and by defining competitors, they're also going to define the behavior you can expect of those competitors. In fact, I can actually show you a product that I love. I bought one the first time I saw it, and I love this story. This is called the Instant Lab, and the company, which is a startup here in Europe, is called the Impossible Project. And the way the story goes is these were former employees of Polaroid who learned that Polaroid would close forever, and the brand was sold, and now it offers only a small segment, some niche application, etc. But it wasn't going to be available for the rest of us. And so they managed to buy some of the patented technology, although they didn't actually get every single piece of technical intellectual property, and so they had to reinvent some pieces. What we're going to need to do, thinking about market boundaries, is that the markets need to be defined on the customer need, and that might be pretty difficult. It has to contain substitutes so that there's meaning to market share, right? When your market share goes up, the market share of competitors goes down. And if you can just use a mnemonic like the market that sells something, it would remind you to not confuse this with the mission or vision. The idea is you start by defining some sort of market. I mean, if you're already established company, then you know which market you're in. But if you are a new business or you're creating a business plan, then you may need to start by what market are we in. You're going to have a distribution of purchases if you are competing in more than just price. When you do that, any innovation that would, in theory, target the entire market and just get some sort of catchment area that ends up being your market share, then you are in more traditional cost leadership and or differentiation advantage. If you instead create an innovation that is going to target only a niche and it commits to the niche to the point where competitors know you wouldn't expand to threaten the rest of their space, then you're in a focus strategy. And that means you can avoid head-to-head competition, but you're giving up market space. Or if we can think of demand beyond that market, imagine that this is the additional demand, then the blue ocean is going to be in between. And so this blue ocean is going to be partly in the original market, partly in some additional demand. And so if you notice, it sort of looks like, I mean, if you close one eye or close the other one, it looks like a focus strategy in either one, right? And so that's what you want to remember about the blue ocean, that there are three types of creating an innovation that will have a new position in the map of purchases, and that one of those choices is to make it towards the connection to other sources.